I'm surprised nobody's told a shitting pants story tonight. I'm not going to do that, don't worry. But I will tell you this. So the first, when you guys date and you start going out with somebody, you get nervous about what you're going to eat because your stomach, usually when you're, nervous, acts up and it does that thing where it's like going like, no. And then you're like, no. And it's like, no. And then you're just like, oh, Christ. So I started seeing this guy, and I really liked him. And just to put this into context, I didn't like eating when we went on dates because I didn't want the no. So I kind of starved myself, which was more like a no in my stomach. But the very first time he slept over, the worst thing happened. We were asleep, and I was still nervous, didn't really eat that well, and I woke up to, the loudest, most, room-shaking fart you could possibly hear. And I literally woke up like this. Just eyes wide open, and his eyes were open. And so I looked at him, and the only thing I could say was, the body, and rolled over. Now, he says he doesn't remember this, but I'm like, yeah, there's no way you could have slept through that. So then a week later, I'm starting to get comfortable, eating around him, and I did the mistake of having a hamburger at a comedy bar. And, then, a couple hours later, I started, feeling sick. And I was like, oh, no. So I went to go have a shower and just completely threw up all over the place. And I was trying to hide it. And I couldn't, and I didn't, and he was a gentleman. I was like, listen, you need to go home. He's like, no, I'm going to stay. You're not feeling well. And I'm terrified because I've never had food poisoning before, but from what I know, it comes out this way and it comes out that way. So I was like, no, you go home. I don't need another, surprise wake up. Go home. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay. And I ended up falling asleep, like a beautiful shit-covered swan. I didn't poo, but... I fell asleep in a towel with a sweatshirt on and my hair in another towel. Real classy lady. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't win with this guy. I'm just grossing him out and I really like him. And then a month later, he surprises me with a birthday gift of going to Niagara on the Lake. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. And we go to this fancy inn. And I'm like, screw it, we can eat now. We've been through farts and throwing up. What else could there be? So we have the most decadent meal I've ever had in my entire life. And we're drinking a ton of wine and we're having a great time. We're eating frog, whatever that is, and cream in our food. And I'm like, screw it, I'll do it. We have steak with more duck fat and foam. And then we have pumpkin cheesecake. And I'm just like, yeah, let's just do this. We're on vacation, I guess. It's Niagara on the Lake. But we have this really decadent night and everything's going great. I even let my laugh out. I don't know if you heard it back there throughout the stories. It sounds like if you put... Julia Roberts and a hyena in a sack and throw it against a wall. It's pretty loud. And a lady comes up to us and she goes, don't change that laugh. And I'm like, I don't think I can. So we're having a great night and we're staying in this really beautiful fancy room. And we get too drunk and just pass out. So the next morning I wake up and I'm like, something is wrong. I feel horrific. And he's like, let's go downstairs for breakfast. And I'm like, I don't think I want to put anything in my stomach. And I'm sweating and I get so hot and I'm like, what's happening? My stomach is silent. He's like, we're not talking. And we go down to breakfast and then I'm like, oh God, I have to go. And so I come up with some line, be like, oh, I forgot my phone upstairs. And he's like, what do you need your phone for? I'm like, I need it. And so I go upstairs, and I'm like, everybody has been in this situation when you started dating somebody and you have to go, right? You're just like, get this done quick, but nothing is happening. But my stomach is like, something needs to happen, but I'm like, it's not gonna happen. Like, what's happening? So I go back downstairs, I order, and then I just look at him, and I'm like, I've forgotten, I need a sweater. And so I run back upstairs, and I'm like, come on, do something. And it's like, I can't do anything with this. And so I'm just feeling like horrifically. So then I go back downstairs, he's like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah. Totally fine. So then we start going around in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I don't know if you've ever been to Niagara-on-the-Lake, but it's like, I don't know if your mom or your stepmom especially has like that one room in the house that you're not allowed to go into. It's kind of like a museum. It's like full of like Royal Dalton and potpourri. Like, don't touch a damn thing in there. Like, don't go in there. Like, that's the entire city. And I'm walking through it just like trailing farts that just smell disgusting, and I'm like, oh, I want to check this over here, and he's like, oh, I'll check it. I'm like, no, you stay there. And I'm like, being this like such shitty mind the pun person going through like the whole city being like, oh man. And then I finally be like, listen, I'm not feeling good. We should probably go back. And he's so sweet. He's like, yeah, okay, let's go back. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it because we're not there yet. And he's like, well, this is an incredibly small, fancy room, so we're gonna be there. And the entire night from like 6 to like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm just stuck like within like 2 feet from him from the bathroom. And it's an old house, so they don't have proper insulation, so you can hear everything. And I still can't do anything. Like, nothing is happening. And this poor guy is like sitting there just being like, this is a great way to spend a weekend. Oh, it's horrific. I don't know who it was more horrific for. Like, he spent a lot of money, and I'm like, I hate my life right now. Like, I'm not coming back from this. So then we finally, you know, I sleep through the night. Even at one point, his dad phoned him on the phone, and I was like, great. Like, I was just like trying to conceal everything because I was like so farty, but nothing was happening. It was all that rich food. So then, as we're leaving, there's a little book that in every room, I don't know, there's like a thing there, and like guests can write little messages on the book. And I was just like, look out for the pumpkin cheesecake. Hot Butt 2013. Like in the fanciest place ever. But he stayed. We're still together. I know. I wouldn't stay. But the thing I'm like super worried about now is like we've been through a lot, and we've overcome many farts in our relationship and really rich food. But now now we're going to Europe for 16 days. We're going to England where everything is like deep fried and shit. No. Yeah. She's like, no. I was like,
20 years ago.
you grew up in the 80s in England?
Yeah. It's over it now.
You're over it? I don't think you are. It's okay. Some people. Whoa. And that's fine. Like, that's gonna make diarrhea any fucking better. But listen, we're going there, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And yeah, Pepto. All right, thank you.